Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first show and tell on our new page on Facebook, LivRite, and our new name on Instagram, same name, LivRite. So I am Karen Amundson, and my husband and I run LivRite together, and we recently just changed our company name. So we've known for a while, for several months, that we wanted to kind of expand our company and encompass health and wellness as a whole, and wanted to change our name to better represent that. And so for quite some time, we have been racking our brains trying to think of a new name. And ironically, this name I thought of several months ago, but then you don't really want to go with like one of your first thoughts, and you want to make sure you've exhausted all ideas. But how I came up with this name is kind of fun. I was at Walmart, and I was looking at their like natural health foods, and the brand is Live something, L-I-V, and I can't remember what it was, Live Healthy or something to that effect. And I was like, oh, I like the name Live, L-I-V. And then that same day, I'm driving home and I'm following this semi, and on the back of the semi, it says Right, R-I-T-E. And I was like, oh, LivRite, I kind of like that. And so brought it up to Mike, and again, we spent several months just, hashing out names, looking up the thesauruses, asking friends and family, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And it all came back to LivRite. So here we are on LivRite, and we're super excited for this new adventure in, starting a new kind of brand. And we're getting ready to launch a website. So that's the next biggest project that we're working on. And then after that, we would love to do a podcast. So that is all in store for the future. So stay tuned to all of that. And slowly we'll be switching everything over to LivRite, which most of our stuff has switched over to that. Now, Facebook, we had to start a brand new page because they wouldn't let us change our name. I think because we had oil in our name, and you have to be really careful. Like the change has to be so slight for them to approve it, and so they wouldn't approve it. So we had to start a brand new page. So if you are following Oil Powered Pear Facebook page, please jump over to LivRite and like that page. And for now, we'll post to both pages until we get more and more people switched over, and then we can kind of close out Oil Powered Pear. So, all right, let's jump into our topic today, baby steps to reducing stress. And I've got to tell you, this topic was a little convicting to me. Like, as I'm doing research and studying more about it, I was more aware this week of, okay, I need to, apply what I'm going to be talking to you guys about more in my life. Because this is probably one of those categories. So I talked about with doTERRA, we explain to everyone what a healthy lifestyle looks like. And this is the pyramid of a healthy lifestyle. You have eating right, you have exercise and weight management, rest and managing stress, and reducing toxic load. So I talked about eating right, I've talked about reducing toxic load, and today we're talking about reducing stress. And this is probably next to reducing toxic load, which was by far probably my worst category. This is my next to worst category. So it is definitely something that I am trying to work on and just be aware about. So again, this was a good topic for me because it was very convicting. And ironically, working on this topic was actually stressful for me because I want to go deeper with you guys. I know we all understand stress, right? But I want to get a little bit more sciencey on you. And for me, that's really hard. I don't retain information very well. I have to read something over and over and over and over and over to be able to speak it to you guys and teach it. And my husband's the one that's really good. He can retain information like this. And that's why I don't play Trivial Pursuit with him. He memorizes, he can memorize like facts and trivia, and he can read and retain and, you know, teach it like the very next day. So, so this did bring a little bit of stress into my life, but it was good because I could apply some of the stuff that I was learning. And today too, or this week, it was interesting. It seems like whenever you're working on a topic to talk about, that's the topic that you kind of start to see and notice everywhere. So I had one friend, I had texted her and I said, hey, how's everything going? And she responded back, everything is so stressful. And she had no idea I was talking about this week. And then another friend texted me and said, I need help with severe anxiety. You know, can you call me? So everybody deals with stress, right? I mean, raise your hand if you've ever dealt with it. We all have. It's one of those things that you cannot avoid, but what we can do is try to reduce it, okay? So, so we're gonna be chatting about that. And for me, I feel like the more we understand how stress works, the more we're gonna understand why essential oils work, okay? So here we go. First of all, I'm gonna start with just a definition of stress. What is stress? And I'm using one of our resource books. So I'm going to be using two during this talk. And I actually have a lot written down that I'm going to be reading just because I want to get it right. And it's such good information. I don't want to like paraphrase it and miss something. So, so the first book that I'm using is Modern Essentials. And again, I highly, highly recommend that if you have essential oils in your home, which you're gonna wanna get after this call, get a resource book, okay? This is where all your answers are. And it's so fun to learn about your body, about the systems in your body, and how essential oils can help support your body naturally, okay? So I'm gonna turn just to the page stress. So like you can look up ailments in this book, okay? Anywhere from minor to major ailments, you can look up in here, and then they're gonna give you a definition and tell you what oils and recipes and protocols you can use. So here's the basic definition of stress. Stress is the body's response to difficult, pressured, or worrisome circumstances. Stress can cause both physical and emotional tension. Symptoms of stress include headaches, muscle fatigue, soreness, insomnia, nervousness, anxiety, and irritability, okay? So stress, one of the symptoms is anxiety, okay? So if you deal with anxiety, you're really dealing with stress on top of that, okay? Now, there's all different kinds of stress. There's chemical stress, emotional stress, environmental stress, mental stress, performance stress, physical stress, and stress due to tiredness or insomnia. And that one I can so relate to. So next week, I am going to be talking about steps for a better night's sleep. I struggled with insomnia for quite some time, so I'm going to share my story. So tune in next week for more about getting a good night's sleep, rest, and if you deal with insomnia, you're going to want to tune in for that. All right, so that's your definition of stress, okay? Now, going a little bit deeper, To understand how stress works, we need to understand the limbic system, okay? So now I've got this book, The Essential Life. So the rest of this information that I'm going to be sharing comes from this book. And what I love about this book is this one does a whole write-up on each of your body's systems, okay? So I love that you can learn about each system: cardiovascular, respiratory, immune, integumentary, emotions, okay? That's in here. So this is the limbic system. And then there's also a page in here on stress. So, all right, so let's talk about the limbic system. It is located in the center of both hemispheres in the brain, or of the brain. It includes the amygdala plus more, but I want you to remember the amygdala, okay? Because this is going to come back in just a second, okay? So the limbic system is responsible for regulating hormones, amongst many other things, and it works with the endocrine system, which also is deeply related to hormones, okay? So think of like your thyroid. All right, so the limbic system is the reason there is pleasure activities such as eating, and why stress manifests in the physical body and directly impacts health, okay? So I'm going to share an example, and I'm having some issues with Instagram again. Okay, I hope you guys are back on. I've been having issues the last 2 weeks with Instagram, so we'll see if we can make it through this whole episode without it shutting down on me. If we can't, then I might need to go back to my old phone. So I got a new phone, and I don't know if that's part of the problem, but anyways, if I lose you on Instagram, you can go over to LivRite Facebook page and catch me there live, and it will also be recorded on there, okay? So I'm going to share my story of how I dealt with a serious, stressful situation in my life and what happened. Let me get some water here. So Mike shared a little bit on one of his talks. He does Monday mornings with Mike every Monday morning at 6:30 in the morning. But he shared about how we lost everything. We lost our home, we lost our car, we sold all of our possessions. But there's kind of a good story to that, so I'll have to share that down the road. And we ended up living with our in-laws, my in-laws, Mike's parents, for about 6 months, which I'm so thankful that they took us in and we had somewhere to go. But as you can imagine, that was a very, very stressful, traumatic time in our lives. And it went on for 6 months, okay? I mean, and this came out of nowhere, guys, okay? So I'm not going to get into the details of the story, but it came out of nowhere. So anyway, we ended up moving here and to Colorado. We live in Colorado, Buena Vista, Colorado. We're like right in the middle of the mountains. It's absolutely gorgeous here. It is a vacation getaway place, so check that out for the summer. But anyway, so we moved to Colorado, and when we moved here, we actually did not have a job moving here. We had just started doTERRA 6 months prior to moving here. So we had built, you know, a small business at the time, but it definitely wasn't enough to sustain us. And so when we moved here, we knew we were going to have to find jobs, but we didn't know where we were going to find them. So that can be a little stressful, right? And what happened, how that manifested in my body, was I lost half of my hair. So I look back on videos, like old YouTube videos that I did for fun, and you can just see my hair was like twice as thick. So I can remember brushing my hair, and like from my hairbrush holding on to like wads of hair. Now, I no longer have that happening. I'm not losing, you know, huge clumps of hair. So I've taken baby steps, and, you know, our life has slowly turned around, and we're not living in that high stressful situation. But just so you know, that's one of the symptoms amongst many symptoms of how stress can manifest in your body and have like a physical result, basically. So, okay, so now back to the limbic system, okay? So deep in the core of the limbic system lies the amygdala. So we're back to that amygdala. It's a little like, I don't know how big it is, but I've seen pictures of it, and it's like right in the center, okay? Both hemispheres of the brain, right in the middle there, okay, is the amygdala. Now, the amygdala serves as the watchtower, evaluating situations to help the brain recognize potential threats and prepare for fight or flight reactions, okay? It was super important for us when we were running away from saber-toothed tigers, okay? We needed that fight or flight response to work when we were, you know, hunting food, okay? So one of the ways that it performs its duty, so this is how the amygdala works, one of the ways is through the sense of smell, okay? So aromas via the olfactory system have a quick, unfiltered route to the amygdala where emotions and memories are stored. Why? Because the sense of smell is necessary for survival, okay? So our bodies are very, very intelligently designed. Right there, that's kind of proof of how smart our bodies are. So we needed the sense of smell, and we needed the amygdala to fire off that fight or flight for when we were out hunting food. And in case there was danger, okay, the fight or flight mode would trigger adrenaline, so that would kick in and you could get away from danger. So that's why there's fight or flight. That's why we experience that. It's supposed to be protection, okay, so that we can get away from danger. Okay, so here's more about the sense of smell. The sense of smell is 10,000 times more powerful than our sense of taste. Now, before I knew that, I remember like telling people, I thought that like I do think I have a really strong sense of smell, but I remember like telling people, oh, it's my strongest sense. Oh, it's my strongest sense. My sense of smell, it's my strongest sense. Well, it is our strongest sense, okay? So think about this. When women are pregnant, okay, a lot of times their sense of smell is so strong, okay? And for me, I remember I could not stand the smell of Tide with Febreze. Like anybody, I could immediately smell when somebody washed their clothes in that soap, and it made me nauseous, like nauseous. Ugh. So again, your sense of smell, it is so strong, and it can create, you know, physical effects to your body, okay? So, all right, aromas have a direct and profound effect on the deepest levels of the body systems, emotions, and psyche. It is the only sense, and this is important, it's the only sense linked directly to the limbic brain. The response is instant And so are the effects on the brain's mental and emotional responses and our body's chemistry, okay? This is where essential oils come in, because when you smell them, it has a direct effect on the brain. So I think that is awesome. I love that. I feel like that is incredible. And that is such a good piece of knowledge to know, because now you have a tool. All right, I got kicked out of Instagram again. So, okay, I don't know what's going on. We will come back to that and figure that out after this. I'm gonna have to switch phones, I think. All right. Let me get this down here. So this is my little stand right here for Instagram. It holds my phone. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys how to use your oils, okay? When you are dealing with a stressful situation, and I know sometimes it's hard when we're like in the middle of it, try to remember to grab your oils and smell them, okay? So for me, like I said, when I was preparing this call, it was actually a little stressful for me. And part of it was dealing with the computer. So I like to make a document at the end, a bit.ly form that has like all of the resources available to you guys, which I'm going to have at the end of this call. So everything that I'm talking about and all the resources, it's over 20 pages. So I have a ton of information on there regarding stress, okay? So I'll put that in the comments. But working on the computer is a trigger for me, okay? So I get so stressed. I can go from even keel to that fight or flight mode, like immediately, when I can't get something to work or I can't figure something out. And so there were times when I actually had to just walk away, because it's like, okay, I need to learn from what I'm going to be teaching about. I need to, practice, right? What I'm teaching on. And so I would walk away and I would grab my oils. And one oil that I turn to a lot is wild orange, okay? So citrus oils are very powerful and very much help with stress and anxiety and depression because they're such uplifting oils. So it can calm you down and uplift at the same time. So while orange, I'm going to show you what I do. So you just grab your hand here. Scoot back so you guys can maybe see a little bit better. And you're going to put just a couple drops. You rub your hands together just so you get a little bit of warmth in your hands. And you can either like just cup and inhale, or you can make like a little cave, if you want to call it, and breathe deep. Now, if you want to use fractionated coconut oil, you can, but otherwise it's okay just to use the oil neat and put it right in your hand and rub and breathe in. And immediately the essential oils, the aromatic compounds, are getting past my olfactory bulbs and right into that limbic center of my brain and affecting my amygdala, okay, where your fight or flight is triggered. All right, so the chemical compounds in citrus oils, when inhaled, help cells to return to their normal state. The body's descent into fight or flight is interrupted, and the body is quickly able to shift towards homeostasis. I mean, Did you guys get that? Like, that is huge. That's huge. That's why diffusing oils, okay? I have our diffuser going around the clock. I have one in the kitchen, one in my office, in all our bedrooms, and while we're sleeping at night, during the day, so that we're constantly getting the benefits of these aromatic compounds, okay? So, all right, herein lies the power and beauty of using essential oils for stress. When inhaled, essential oils enter the olfactory system and directly affect the amygdala and therefore impact mood and emotional response. Thus, they can be beneficial in reprogramming the significance that individuals have attached to past experiences. Okay, so I lived through a very traumatic time in my life where I'm more susceptible to go into that fight or flight mode, like constantly, right? There's no in between. It's just I'm there. So I need to be smelling these aromatic compounds to help re-trigger and reprogram that past experience and trauma that I went through, okay? So, okay, it can initiate rapid response both physically and emotionally in the brain and the rest of the body. Inhalation of essential oils with the resulting aromatic exposure, okay, inhalation, aromatic exposure to your brain, to your amygdala, okay, is the most effective method of impacting the brain. Okay, so take that in too. I know this is a lot of information and it's deep and it's kind of sciencey, so you might want to listen to this again and maybe take notes, but incredible, okay? So, all right, so the one simple thing that you can do to immediately help reduce stress is breathe in your essential oils. Put a couple drops in your hands, rub your hands together, breathe it in. I can still smell the wild orange. Okay, so now moving on. How does stress affect the body? When stress becomes chronic, okay, so it's when it becomes chronic. Now, we all deal with stress, right? So the key is managing and reacting. It's how we react to stress that's so important. And if you are not reacting to stress very well, it becomes chronic, where you're chronically dealing with it, and your body is chronically dealing with it, okay? So when stress becomes chronic, some extremely serious situations can result. Cortisol is released, which deactivates the immune system. When the immune system is repressed for an extended period of time, the body pays a significant toll. You will be at risk of heart attack, stroke, anxiety, depression, infertility, asthma, back pain, fatigue, headaches, serious digestive issues, and more, okay? So here are a couple baby steps that we can take to help reduce stress, okay? First step, I believe, is know thyself, right? Know what your triggers are. Know and acknowledge if you easily get stressed. So with Mike and I am definitely the one that gets stressed by far way more than he does. Now, part of that could be due to personality types. I am a type A personality type. And so I don't know, I didn't research this, but I'm guessing they're probably more susceptible to getting stressed more often and quicker and easier, okay? Mike is very laid back, very easygoing, fly by the seat of his pants type of guy, okay? So he doesn't react to stress like I do, okay? So, so know yourself, okay? Know when to walk away and take a break. So again, back to like the whole computer situation, I know that that is a trigger for me, okay? Because Photoshop Elements, for example, I don't know if anybody has that, but I've never taken a class on it. And so I'm trying to like teach myself. And a lot of times that can actually like kick you in the butt because you're trying to teach yourself, which can, you know, be a double-edged sword, I guess, because that can cause more stress trying to teach yourself. And then I get so frustrated, you know, I'm clicking my mouse around and like, why isn't this moving here? Why isn't this going there? Blah, 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 blah. So I need to know that when I am going to create and I'm opening up that software program, I need to be diffusing my oils. So I have a diffuser, you know, right next to my computer here. I can put it just right, you know, in the front of my face. And I do this sometimes, okay? I have this little travel one that doTERRA was giving away a while back ago. And I could just set it right down here and just kind of breathe in the aromatics, which I have done before. So, so I need to know and prepare myself and know that if I can feel the stress coming on, to just walk away and give myself a break, okay? And come back to it later. Maybe do it in smaller chunks, okay? So know yourself. Number 2, relationships are huge, huge for emotional health, okay? So if anybody is married, you know how tough it is to work together and to take 2 individuals and bring them together and, you know, be together like 24/7, right? You've got 2 personalities, 2 different thoughts, 2 different goals sometimes, 2 different work habits, you know, schedules. Like we're all very, very individual. And so, so that can create stress when you're trying to work together, or just relationships in general. When you're not getting along, that can add stress. So I'm going to read this. Individual interpretation of relationships and other stimuli directly impact the level of stress experienced. When an individual can honestly assess a situation and choose to interpret it differently, this simple change in thinking can help reprogram an individual's stress response. Okay? So one thing that I just started doing, this is from Brendan, oh boy, I don't know how to say his last name. I'm gonna mess it up. So I'll put his name in the notes, okay? But he just started a podcast with his wife. It's called HPX. So you can look it up. I shared him on stories. I've been listening to him. He's great. And he has this form where you can write down your most important people in your life right now and ask yourself, how is your connection with them? Okay, because relationships are so important. And they're key for good health, good emotions, okay? So put down your relationships. And at first I was thinking of like people, right? And then later I realized, you know what? My number 1 relationship is with God. Like that, he's the first relationship that I want to work on. And when that relationship isn't strong, I can feel more stress, more anxiety, more worry. more struggles, more irritability, right? It impacts everything in my life. So for me, I need to prioritize every morning getting up and having that quiet time and meditation time where I'm focusing on him. I'm building that relationship with him. I'm allowing him, I'm praying. I'm allowing him to speak to me. I journal. So all of that, right? Then I have my husband, my kids, my sister, and my parents. So that's my list. And now I need to go and I need to rate how I'm doing with each of these relationships and how am I connecting with them. And then need to continue to work on getting that number higher, okay? So I will have this form in the bit.ly form that I'm gonna attach at the end, okay? So the next step is use your oils. That's kind of an obvious one, right? So that's an immediate one that you can turn to, like an immediate action step. When you're in the heat of something or you just feel something coming on, turn to your oils, turn to your oils, turn to your oils. Now, here are some of the top oils for reducing stress, for calming the body, bringing balance to your life. One is vetiver. This one is my absolute favorite smelling oil. So vetiver is number one. I would have to say probably patchouli is maybe number two. But this is a really thick oil. So this is a root from a grass, okay, from Haiti. And this takes a while to drop out. So I'm just giving you a forewarning that this is really thick. But vetiver is great. Lavender, which we've all heard of lavender, right? It's closely, like a lot of us think, when we think of lavender, we think of spa, sleeping. What else do you think of when you think of lavender? Spa mostly, right? Or like a lot of personal care products, okay? Because lavender is a very calming oil. Now, petitgrain, okay, is very similar to lavender. So lavender is very florally, obviously it's flower, right? So this is, typically a lot of men might not like the smell of this. So this is lavender for men. However, I don't like floral smells as much as I like earthy, herbaceous smells. So I love petitgrain, and I have been using this one like crazy. Because I just got this, so I have not had this oil for the 3 years. So I do not own every single oil yet. I'm almost there. But I just got this. This was one of the BOGOs, and so now I'm using it like crazy. It's a new smell. I'm learning about it, reading about it, diffusing it, all that kind of stuff. So petitgrain, copaiba, okay, so this works with our endocannabinoid system, which works with our nervous system. So this is an extremely calming oil. So usually before I go on these live calls, because I get nervous beforehand, right? Like anxiety sets in, and talk about a stress like affecting your digestive system. I like go to the bathroom 10 times before I hop on my call. But this I make sure to take under my tongue, and it just helps calm the emotions. So right now I am very calm, okay? The nerves have gone away, and I think that's probably just more working up towards it. And like the first minute I'll be nervous, and then it goes away. So copaiba is great. You have clary sage. This is an awesome oil for regulating hormones. And then you have elevation, which is also known as our joyful blend. Okay, so if you can imagine, it's like a bowl of sunshine. I love this one. So those are some of the top oils. Now there's several more oils, and if you get one of these books, you'll find that there's more oils in there, or you can just Google it too, you know, what oils are good for stress, okay? All right, so the next step is supplements, okay? So I'm not gonna talk a ton about these. I did a video that you can find on our YouTube page, which is switched over to LivRite, okay? So it's Mike and Karen Amundsen LivRite. So you can Google that and it'll pop up. But I did a whole talk on from refusal to acceptance because I used to not take vitamins, okay? And now I do, and I can tell you it has had a tremendous effect on my emotions, my stress, my anxiety, my overall health. This is a baseline, okay? So everybody needs supplements. We are lacking in vitamins and minerals and nutrients and fatty acids just because of the diet that we have today, okay? All right, so now I'm gonna give you a couple more ideas. These are some ideas that I got from doTERRA's website. And I am going to have, again, all of this on the form at the end. So don't feel like you have to write everything down. So a couple things. Number one, take 2 minutes to breathe deeply, okay? I've talked about this in the past before. I'll do this in my car. And the more you start doing it, the more you're aware of when you actually need to do it, okay? So it's just breathing in deep through the nose. And then you hold your breath. Now this one says breathe in for 4 seconds, hold for 7, and breathe out for 8, okay? And that act alone will help you focus on your body and help you to breathe more deeply on a regular basis, okay? So the more you do it, you'll start doing it without even needing to think about it. And there's more details about why that's good for you, but I am going really long right now. I didn't realize I was going to go this long. So one thing that I love that includes breathing deep and breathing in essential oils is yoga, okay? So that is amazing to help reduce stress. So I'm always putting oils in my hands before I come to the yoga mat. I'm breathing them in. I'm breathing deeply. So my favorite yoga to do lately is Yoga with Adriene, and she's on YouTube. So go check that out. Okay, the next tip is drink herbal tea. Because, okay, so teas like lemon balm, peppermint, chamomile, and passion flower are helpful. So just the act of drinking tea, warm tea, is soothing and relaxing and can be the boost that you need, okay? So just the act of doing that. Now, for fun, I have Dandy Blend here, which is a tea that I haven't tried yet that I've been wanting to try. I've heard such great things about this. You can buy it in a big box, but our local natural food store had this little sample pack. So I figured I would try this first. So I'll tell you what's in here. It is roasted barley, rye, chicory root, dandelion root, and sugar beetroot, okay? And what you can do is you can add Roman chamomile in your tea. Now, I have never ingested Roman chamomile, but you can. There's a supplement fact on the back of the bottle. So this is also amazing for reducing stress. So I'm going to, I've been steeping my tea here, okay? So I know my handle's broken, but I had this little lid on there. It's been steeping. The poor cup. I loved this cup and the handle. It busted, but it still works, okay? So now I'm just gonna put a drop in here. We're gonna see how this tastes. So I'm gonna do it for the first time in front of you guys. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see. Don't you like this spoon too? This is one of my favorite spoons from IKEA. Okay. It's different. I love the smell of it because I'm smelling the Roman chamomile. So again, you're breathing in the aromatics. So I can see how just the act of drinking tea is going to help calm you down. I like to drink tea a lot at night before bed, which I need to start doing more of. I went through this like season where I was doing it all the time, and then I've kind of stopped doing it, and I need to start doing that again. I like it. That's good. It's different than what I thought because you have the chicory in there, so it's good. It's very it's not like a floral tea. It's almost like closer to coffee or like a chocolatey taste because of the chicory. I don't know. It's good. I like it. All right. Another tip, get outside in the fresh air. So although it's winter for a lot of us and we can tend to get cooped up inside, just get outside for a couple minutes and get some fresh air, okay? Get your body moving. Exercise for at least 30 minutes, 5 days a week. 10 minutes of meditation in the morning, which I like to do my quiet time, okay? Give yourself a hand massage, all right? So you can use the oils, and I've got a link. There's a special way to massage your hand. And the reason why that's so effective is because we have reflexology points in our hands, all right? So, and then we've got apply past tense or peace. So past tense has peppermint in there and wintergreen in there and cilantro. It's so, it just wakes you up. It helps reduce head tension, stress, ensure that you get enough sleep, and generate a support system, okay? So if you're dealing with something that's very overwhelming, talk to somebody about it, because just talking about it can help. And giving hugs too. So I remember, I think it was on John Tesh, they said that we need like 8 hugs a day, okay? So, so try that. And then detox baths is one of my favorite things to do. And if you get this book, there are several recipes for detox baths in the stress section to help reduce stress. So get this and look up those recipes. All right, so I'm going to end with this. It's not stress that kills us. It is our reaction to it. Okay, so marinate on that. And then next week, come back and I'm going to be talking about baby steps to help get a better night's sleep. All right, thanks everyone. We'll see you later. Bye.